Yesterday, the massive Vanity Fair article dropped all about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and the internet's response was kind of like, meh. It appears the bigger story, the thing that people really want to hear about, is the stuff that was not in the article and the stuff that Disney made Variety take out of the article.
It's like the news, but for nerds. Subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Today's shout out goes to Iron Spider. Indeed, the new desert planet in Star Wars Episode 9 is known as Pasana. We will do another nerd card question at the end of this video. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. I'm, of course, Josh. This is the Denim Nerds, and man, what a weird week. Seemingly massive Star Wars news yesterday kind of doesn't pop that much. And I was actually trying to figure it out. I was like, why is the response to this massive info dump for Star Wars Episode 9 kind of met with a little bit of meh by the fan base? And then when I looked to see how fan communities on Reddit, on Amino, on Tumblr, just all over the internet, what people were saying and thinking about the Variety report, it seemed that there was an entirely different conversation that was not only happening, but that was way more popular than the conversation introduced in this article. I feel like it's my job here to actually talk about the news that everyone's really curious about. And at the end of the day, I believe that the reason the news yesterday fell kind of flat for what Lucasfilm maybe wanted was because they played it super safe and they're not actually talking about the stuff that people want to hear about. So let's read between the lines. Let's contextualize things we know about the film with stuff that this author talked about in the article, in the Reddit AMA, and in his video, because it all gives context and sort of paints a different picture, again, than what was in the article. Let's start with Matt Smith, the question of the day, the question that Disney doesn't want you to ask. Is he in the film or not? Now, in the AMA, Lev Grossman revealed that that was almost his first question that he asked to Disney. He then reveals that he didn't ever get an answer. It's really interesting that he says specifically that he asked Disney this. It was one of the first things he asked, one of the things he's most curious about, and Disney would not give him an answer. Now, what that implies is that he was sort of set up with someone at Disney to see what was off and on limits for even the questions that he eventually asked. He also talks about in his video that Disney is very tight with the secrets around Star Wars films, but that sometimes the cast and crew can slip up. He talked about knowing that a main character dies, and this is because somebody in the cast slipped up when he interviewed them at Star Wars Celebration. He talks about other things that he knows that he shouldn't know, and all of that information comes from not Disney, but some of the actors and actresses. So it's so obvious that Disney has this PR boilerplating that they're putting this guy through, and he's asking the obvious questions, the ones that the fans want, and he's literally given no answer, which is not a no or a yes. It's that we cannot talk about that. Now, what's funny is Matt Smith is on record being asked by other journalists, and he says he is not in Star Wars Episode 9. Like, unequivocally, he is not in the film. But we totally know he is in the film. It's like the worst kept secret in Hollywood. Jason Ward and his team over at MakingStarWars.net have talked a lot about how Matt Smith is very likely to be in the film, and we even know the role he is likely going to play. He is playing a young dark side user that is obsessed with resurrecting Palpatine and eventually allows Palpatine to resurrect himself. He willingly lets Palpatine get into his body. At least that's the rumor right now. Now, recently on Twitter, people were talking about this, and someone made the point that this is just like the Khan situation, where JJ instructed Benedict Cumberbatch to directly lie to reporters about him being the Khan character. And he very likely instructed Matt Smith to do the exact same thing when asked about it. Now, what's funny is that's a JJ Matt thing, and it looks like the PR team at Disney just isn't aware, because if they were on the same page, then when asked about this, they would have told Lev Grossman he is not in the film. 100% he's not in the film. Instead, they gave him no answer, and they told him that that was off limits. How do I know they told him that that question was off limits? Because there's nothing about Palpatine in really the article as far as information that's given, and there's nothing about Palpatine in the video that they released on Variety other than when they get to speculation. They were very careful not to talk about Palpatine in the official questioning that they did, or that Lev did, at Star Wars Celebration. This implies that the Palpatine twist is a huge thing for the movie, something that JJ desperately wants to keep secret. That's why he told Matt Smith to lie to everybody. It all has to do with Palpatine. And in this conversation on Twitter, Jason Ward just chimed in and just kind of gave us a little bit of a hint there that's like, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Now let's talk about the Knights of Ren, and once again, the official story and what we are actually learning when we read between the lines, totally different. Now this is clearly something that Disney did want to be on the table. The Knights of Ren are something they wanted specifically in this article. Annie Leibovitz does that great photo of them. It's the first time we actually see them confirmed visually for Star Wars Episode 9. But again, not only did we know this months ago, but we've even seen sketches on makingstarwars.net that describe these exact characters. Now in the article, or at least originally in the article, Lev Grossman goes on to do something that every Star Wars fan on the planet has done and speculate that the shot in the trailer looks a heck of a lot like Kylo is taking down a member of the Knights of Ren. And not only did they edit the article, take it off of the article, but they actually had someone that was not Lev Grossman answer the question on the official AMA. It was literally an editor that came in and said, that was incorrect, didn't happen, error. Damn it, Disney. Do you not understand how things work? By you doing this, by you making them take it off the article and make a big deal about it, we pretty much know that it's an important plot piece that you're defending. It's like in the boilerplate questioning, they were like, yeah, we want Knights of Ren you can totally talk about. And then the guy makes one little connection that, like, again, everybody made, and Disney's all like, whoa, why is that in the article, you son of a gun? Get that out of here, that's too truthful. It's just like, I just don't think they get it. They don't understand, like, the internet. Now, finally, let's talk about Kylo Ren and Rey and their bond. Is this a relationship? Is this, cousins? Is this brother and sister? This is a big part of what was going on in this article. And again, the way they answer it and the way they're boilerplating this question says more about the question than their answers. And so this is a question that continuously comes up in all of the pieces of entertainment and promotion for Star Wars Episode 9. It was a question Stephen Colbert asked at the panel. And you gotta know that that was a question he ran through Disney. Daisy gets asked about it all the time in different interviews and things of that nature. Something that Lev Grossman talks about in the article, and he talks about how JJ refers to their connection as possibly deeper than anyone has ever imagined. Apparently, Adam Driver refers to it as a possible bond, but that's weird because he wasn't at Star Wars Celebration, so where did they even get that quote? It almost feels like that's secondhand, like someone else was saying how Adam Driver refers to it. Probably Daisy, to be honest with you. Now, the two big things that people are coming up with as far as theories with, deeper than you could have imagined is the fact that they are related or the fact that they are lovers. And I gotta tell you, both group of people there, those are things that people have imagined. Therefore, I don't necessarily think that's what JJ is referring to. I think he's talking about something a little more cosmic, a little bit more force involved. But if anything, them being lovers is like the less imagined thing. A lot of people just can't wrap their heads around that. I think it still would be shocking to be, them to be lovers and that to be revealed, to be their connection. Even though this one is a little bit harder for me to make a judgment call on, the way they are boilerplating this question, the way that Daisy Ridley sort of denied the ship at Star Wars Celebration, which is where all of these questions were at and where they were all prepared to answer these questions, the little ways that the actors look at each other when this question is posed, all of the context for this question makes me believe that yes, it is indeed a romantic connection. I do not think that they are related to each other, and I've always sort of speculated that they are both representations of sides of the Force, and that perhaps the cosmic force itself is seeking balance through these two entities coming together, and I continue to believe that that is the case. Now, Lev Grossman, especially in the video that he did, sort of denies this, even makes fun of them almost making out, and really considers them to both be related in theory. And you might say, oh man, maybe he's using some of the knowledge he got from the actors and saying that and suggesting that, meaning, oh crap, maybe they aren't lovers. But in that same video, he refers to the possibility of Richard E. Grant being the father of General Hux, which just shows us that Lev Grossman really doesn't know Star Wars canon. So basically, any speculation on Lev Grossman's part, just throw it out the window. It doesn't count for anything. I think the subtext here makes it way more likely that they are going to be romantically involved. Now, at the end of the day, these sort of things are just plainly way more interesting to talk about, and they are the things that Disney refuses to talk about. And so when they do a big Vanity Fair article, which I know is tradition and I know they've been doing for a long time, and it fails to create the hype that they were looking for, the reason is this: they're not talking about the things that the fan base is talking about. The people that care about this are way ahead of the marketing that Disney is doing, We know Palpatine's in there. We know Matt Smith's gonna play a young Force user and probably be possessed by Palpatine. We know he's probably going to betray the Knights of Ren because the Knights of Ren and other dark side users are gonna wanna bring back the Sith and bring back Palpatine. We know that Rey and Kylo Ren likely have romantic feelings for each other and that will have some kind of deeper meaning. And so it seems like as long as Disney and Star Wars is going to try this really old tactic of marketing, their stuff is just going to continue to not pop. However, again, I think it's the job of this channel and other fan groups out there to continue to build the hype and get people excited for it and talk about the stuff that frankly fans actually want to talk about. Now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know what actor has been in every single Star Wars movie. There's only one actor that has appeared in every single Star Wars movie. What is the name of that actor? Answer that question in the comments section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.